Welcome back to the Neutral Zone. Today we're going to be kicking off our 2025 preview series. This is our third edition of the preview series. We've done this for 3 years now. We're going to be going through every single team or every, relevant team in college football up until the season starts here in the next 3 months or so. So let us know in the comment section what you guys think of these teams, as well as any other teams that you guys want us to kind of go over. Today, as you guys can see by the title, we're going to be going over the Oklahoma Sooners, giving our thoughts on their offseason, as well as our projections and predictions for the season upcoming. So please, like I said, drop a comment to let us know what you guys think about their season, your predictions for them, and any other teams that you guys want us to kind of go over. So let's get right into it. Dad, I'll let you kind of recap the 2024 season.
I think so much hope for Brett Venables in this season. Um, this is now, I think, his third season. Last year being his second, but they still finished 6-7 with a loss to Navy in a bowl game. They did have the big win at Alabama late in the season, that 24-3 game. But I don't think any Oklahoma fan will say that this season went like they wanted it to. Big loss in the Red River rivalry or shootout or whatever they're calling it, 34-3. Again, you lost the Navy in the bowl game. I truly think that this season is make or break for Oklahoma. I think it's make or break for Brett Venables. I think he may be, I don't want to say on the hot seat, but on the warm seat, especially if they don't show forward trajectory this season.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'll be on the hot seat like you said, but I think he'll obviously have a lot more eyes on him. But I
Yeah.
think recruiting has been really hot for Oklahoma. He got some really good additions in the transfer portal, which we'll talk about. So I think they'll be in a good spot this season. I expect them to take a little bit of a leap. They obviously lost 7 games last year. I don't expect that to happen again. And they lost to Navy, obviously, in the bowl game. All right, so as you guys can see here, this is going to be the offseason kind of recap for the Oklahoma Sooners, as well as their recruiting class. It should say 2025 recruiting class on the bottom right, not 2023. So scratch that that typo there. But obviously, a lot of losses for this team. I'm including Danny Stutzman. He's kind of been like the heartbeat of that defense for the Oklahoma Sooners
Yeah.
for it feels like for a really long time. You lose Jackson Arnold. He obviously transfers out to another SEC team. So this is going to be interesting. But Dad, what kind of sticks out to you immediately when you look at this screen and kind of their roster makeup heading into the 2025 season?
I'm going to say one that's not on there, tied to John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle, the OC that came over from Wazoo, came with Mateer. Those two together hopefully can get this passing game on the road. Again, all kudos, but Jackson Arnold as a dual threat on the ground seemed to work, but they could never really unlock that passing game. So hopefully now with Arbuckle and Mateer, that passing game can unlock. My concern with Mateer, now again, had a great season last year, over 3,000 yards, just under 30 touchdowns, looked really good, but he was in a very depleted Pac 12. I don't think this is necessarily a Cam Ward 2.0 where he leaves Washington State and goes and blows up in a bigger program, because you got to remember Cam Ward did it when the Pac 12 was still whole. Mateer and Washington State last year played a bunch of lower level talent. So we're going to see, can he take that step up? We're going to see Ben Arbuckle, a very young OC. Is he a big time OC? Can this offense take a step up? I trust Brett Venables to have this defense locked and loaded and ready to go. The question is, can they get something on offense with Mateer, with some of the talent they have? They're bringing back at wide receiver. And then Jaden Ott, obviously the running back that came over from Cal, was hurt last year, but the year before was a 1,000-yard rusher. Can he unlock who he was 2 years ago? And can we get this Oklahoma offense looking like something sustainable? Because if this offense can play, this will be a team that's dangerous.
Yeah, I think obviously the story of the team last year was the offensive woes, and
Yeah.
how lackluster and explosive they could be on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is going to be good. You have a very good defensive mind as a head coach in Brent Venables, but the offense just couldn't seem to kind of get on track. And I think you bring back your leading rusher in Javonte Barnes, as well as bringing over a top 5 to 10 running back in college football in Jaden Ott. I think that's going to be a recipe for kind of a bruise and just play behind a big offensive line at Oklahoma. And not to say that they're going to turn into the 2008 Alabama football team, but I think if you have a consistent run game that opens up things for the pass, Jean Mateer is going to be going into the SEC, but I think I'm not going to say he's proven, but he's going to be, he's not going to have question marks. I don't think he has question marks like some of the other teams that are, replacing the quarterback position. I think Jean Mateer has proven himself enough at the college football level to kind of get the trust of Brent Venables. Deion Burks is back. Obviously the transfer from Purdue, last season or last offseason. I think he battled some injuries last season as well. So hopefully he can get healthy, because I think he's one of the better wide receivers in the SEC. If he can stay healthy and he's able to do that, then that'll be obviously solid. But I think overall, this is going to be one of the better seasons that we've seen from Oklahoma. They have a really tough schedule, which we'll go over here in a second. But they had a really good recruiting class as well, top 25 class overall. Brought in a 5-star. I think Fasusi was offensive lineman. He's a top 10 recruit in the class, if I'm not mistaken, either top 10 or top 15. So he should be really good. And they brought in a bunch of 4-stars. And obviously those guys are not going to play immediately. I mean, the offensive lineman might, but these guys aren't going to play immediately. But hopefully they can kind of bring in the talent for Brent Venables to continue to change the program around. I know the first season he had a really bad season. They were like 5-7 or 6-6 or something. So hopefully they're able to continuously build the program. But let's go ahead and take a look at the season upcoming. We are pretty identical. Obviously, you haven't seen my predictions. I saw yours, but we're pretty identical. The only game that we're kind of different on is the South Carolina game. Those of you guys who watched the video that we posted 2 days ago, we talked about South Carolina briefly. I'm a little bit lower on South Carolina this year than my dad is, so that kind of makes sense when you're looking at this. I do want to know, so you have their ceiling at 10-2. What 2 teams do you like? Can you not see them beating?
So the funny part, I would say Texas and LSU. Now it's crazy that I say Texas. I think Texas, in terms of talent, is far superior. But this is a rivalry, and sometimes when you get into those rivalry games, anything can happen. But if I was basing this just off of talent, I would say that I think the Texas and LSU games I would put those in the solid win columns for those teams. All the other games, because again, as you look at the floor, I have to add in there the Michigan game, the Ole Miss game, the Tennessee game, I think are the other games that I added. And those are games that I give to Oklahoma, but I wouldn't be shocked if they went the other way.
Yeah, the one game that I felt like they wouldn't be able to win is the Alabama game, actually. I think
Oh, really?
the reason why I went that route is because of the home field advantage. I think against a Texas or an LSU, I wouldn't be complete, especially Texas. That's a Red River rivalry game. I think that's a back and forth game. It doesn't matter how bad Oklahoma is or how good Texas is that year. It's kind of like the Auburn Alabama game. It's still going to be competitive to a certain extent. And I think the LSU game, if it was on the road, I would have swung the other way. But I think with it being in Norman, I think that's going to help them a lot. I still have obviously LSU winning that game, so I'm not saying Oklahoma's going to win that game. But I think they have a chance to win. But I think the Alabama game, I think Alabama is really deep. I understand that they're a quarterback change and all that good stuff. But I just think at the end of the day, it's the Alabama bias. We have 100,000 fans in Tuscaloosa, and it's just a winning culture. It's very hard to beat them in that environment. So that's the one game I don't think I could see them winning. But I do have them going 9-3, and I think 9-3 puts you between the 16 to 22 mark. As the season kind of unfolds at the very end. I don't think that gets you in the SEC title game. But I don't think you really want to be in the SEC title game if you're 9-3, because you don't want to get that extra loss at the very end and get bumped out, because we don't really know how they're going to do it later in the season. But I think 9-3, or even like you have it 8-4, is a very good season for Oklahoma, considering the SEC is a very tough conference. Because if you just look at the schedule, I mean, I know I was very down on Michigan last year, but I think Michigan is going to be a very tough challenge for them in week 2. Auburn's going to be tougher this year. You obviously have Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri should be down, and then LSU. So you have 7-8 games realistically that you could lose. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of offense this Oklahoma team has, because the defense is always going to show up. I think the defense is going to be able to keep you in ball games, but if you can't score, that's going to be a major problem. I want to look at something really quick. So if you look at their season last year, they had one game where they scored more than 21 points. That is
Yeah,
pathetic.
the offense was bad. That's a fact.
Yeah, if you played 13 games and you only scored more than 21 or 20, at least 21 one time, you were held to single digits 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So 30% of your games you were held to less than 10 points. Now, albeit that was against really good teams.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I counted the Temple game, so not 4 times. It was 3 times. I read it wrong. So they scored more than 21 two times, or 3 times because of the Tulane game as well. So I don't know. I just think this team has a chance to be very, very good. It's just going to depend on the offense. If the offense can, come to life this year with the new additions, then I think we're looking at Oklahoma in a way different light. But
I want to help you. They scored more than 21 5 times.
5 times? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I was looking at a lot of the losses. That's why.
Losses. Yeah.
And there were
Yeah.
so many of those, so it's throwing me off.
Yeah. So I think the simple question of this season for Oklahoma is, can this offense really take off? Can John Mateer prove to be better as a passer than Jackson Arnold was last year? Can Ben Arbuckle unlock something? What does Jaden Ott have? Sometimes with those big injuries, you don't recover. Can he pop back off? And you're still playing a very tough schedule. All of those things can go very well. Mateer can play great. Ott can play great. The offense can be popping, and you still got 4 or 5 losable games where you can play great, or you can play very good football and still drop those games. So, can you navigate a SEC schedule? And I think since Oklahoma and Texas came over, Texas has obviously been a little bit more successful with that. Oklahoma has had a tough time in the SEC playing top tier teams week in and week out. Again, hopefully they get this right. I think they will. I think they will be one of those fringe playoff teams at the end of the year. I think 9-3, 8-4 probably has them in the discussion one way or the other, 11 seed or something like that. But I think this defense is going to be good. I think Mateer is going to be an upgrade. It's just a question of how much and can you win some of those big games.
Don't forget, guys, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for daily uploads with college football previews. We're going to be doing this all the way till the season starts. We will see you guys tomorrow as we drop the Florida Gators preview. Peace out.